aha de tutu so asem asi West for aniguase aka omo no Europe for especially America for aniguase kese aka omo abra victory day we ewie enra da due ne nyina ne se omo de aba betu dwa se Russia akonka the whole world enti omo yam hihie omo boom aden last year Russia victory day no countries e basie na omoye mako 9 state leaders. This year I multiply a jump by 29 into 20 leaders of other countries, which states abeka amaye 29, which means Russia ajiwiase nyina boso a ekire se obia hyenase ufri US ufri Armenia ufri Europe, UK, Germany, Berlin, blah 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 blah. Munyina moshe Russia asi free ndedi koi. Sanse Western media de ababetu dwa se Russia conquer the whole world. With the video no to ha no wahwe full video no behwe no YouTube. Na asema rehosem de ama Donald Trump oda ne ho hyehye no ontumi na aduane kura anye ne de nanum ato sanse de Russia aye nnera no ni se de wiase nyina Africa fo nyina tu di Russia china na kyese aniguase aba Europe and West for so yenhwe video no be si ma baako.
It's been quite a good day for President Putin in Moscow at the Victory Day celebrations. Last year at those Victory Day celebrations he had 9 other states represented there. This year, he's got 29 states represented. And so a number of people from other countries have come along. A lot of them from the global south, so states from Africa, states from Latin America, Venezuela was represented, Cuba is represented, states from Central Asia represented, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and so on. But the star of the show, from Putin's point of view, undoubtedly, is Xi Jinping. President of China. Xi Jinping is only his second visit to Russia itself, although he's met Putin many times, but only his second visit itself to Russia. And the fact that President Xi is coming to stand on the podium, on the rostrum with Putin, indicates his support for Putin in the ongoing war in Ukraine. He says, of course, that he's neutral, that he has no view on the war other than that he wants to bring peace. But this is not exactly the way to bring peace, because he's proving here that he said that they are friends of steel. They have a steel friendship, is what he said last night. And that's a message to the rest of the world. So today represents that sort of triumph, diplomatic triumph for Putin, and 13 other armies, or troops from 13 other armies, were also marching behind the Russian troops. So the North Koreans were marching, the Vietnamese were marching. All of this helps Putin emerge from pariah status in the world to a leader that a lot of other states in the global south, almost all of them autocracies and dictatorships, but they now take him more seriously than they were prepared to do a couple of years ago. Meanwhile, in Oslo, the Western allies were having a meeting of the Joint Expeditionary Force, the JEF. And the JEF came into existence officially in 2014. It's now over 10 years old. It's led by Britain, by the United Kingdom, and it represents a series of northern European states who are drawing their militaries closer together within NATO, but they're doing much more flexibly, more potently, because they fear what is happening in Ukraine. They fear the power of Russia. And in a way, what it represents is the difference between a North and a South NATO. In the north of NATO, so the JEF nations, the Scandinavian countries, the Baltic states, Denmark, Netherlands, the United Kingdom and Iceland, these 10 states take a very tough view of Russia and what is happening in Ukraine. And those states are pushing the Russians as hard as they can in terms of sanctions and other things. And so they even announced today more sanctions on the Ghost Fleet, the fleet of somewhere between 400 and 1,000 ships, which are running oil illegally around the world. And if you declare sanctions, you've got to chase them, because the victims of sanctions, the people who have sanctions put against them, find ways around it. So declaring sanctions means you've still got to keep going. So that's what they're doing now. And final point is that Ukraine declared today that there would be a meeting of the Coalition of the Willing, tomorrow in Kiev. Now, we're not quite clear what that means, whether it'll be an online meeting or a meeting with some principals there. We're not clear if some senior politicians will be there. But undoubtedly, the Ukrainians are also indicating that they are part of this diplomatic push to try to counteract the idea that Putin is emerging from pariah status into a more respectable statesperson in the world. What is clear is that diplomatically, there's a big difference now between Northern Europe, not so much Southern Europe, but Northern Europe and Moscow. And the fault line between those two groups runs right the way through the war in Ukraine.
Subscribe the truth. Said the bear, Abrini Abibia, meet me, apost to the amount, no so who dear, echo, ewo, the truth.